India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor could be one of the reasons for Hamas attack on Israel. US President Joe Biden has said that he is convinced that one of the reasons why Hamas launched a terrorist attack on Israel was because of the recent announcement during the G20 summit in New Delhi on the ambitious India, Middle East, Europe economic corridor that integrates the entire region with a network of railroad. That's the word coming in from Joe Biden. Let me try and cut across to Abhishek and get more details on this. Abhishek, put this into context, please.
Well, the situation that is evolving in Middle East does matter because of the security challenges it will have for the future projects. Both economic and strategic interests of countries like India and USA are there, and if the situation doesn't, go down in the coming days, it will mean that the instability in the region will prevail for a few months, and maybe it could be delayed. So recently we have seen Prime Minister Modi unveiling a project that would have connected India to Mediterranean Sea via Saudi and Israel. So if certain conditions are not met, especially the political and strategic stability in that, these projects would also be in jeopardy. Also, what is happening right now, the kind of humanitarian crisis that has evolved in Gaza in the last 3 weeks, that is also attracting a lot of attention from around the world, where the world leaders are now focusing as to how can they limit the number of casualties, the civilian, the tragedy that is unfolding there. At the same time, keeping in mind the right to defense of Israel, that the fight against terrorism should not stop, but not at the cost of civilian casualty. There has been the overall sense of many meetings and diplomatic channel talks that has been ongoing.
All right, Abhishek, getting us all those details and perspective. Let's also listen into some more reactions coming in.
Israel has the right, and I would add responsibility, to respond to the slaughter of their people. And we will ensure Israel has what it needs to defend itself against these terrorists. That's a guarantee. We also have to remember that Hamas does not represent, let me say it again, Hamas does not represent the vast majority of the Palestinian people on the Gaza Strip or anywhere else. Hamas is hiding behind Palestinian civilians, and is despicable and, not surprisingly, cowardly as well. We're also working around the clock together with our partners in the region to secure the release of hostages, and including American citizens left behind and held by Hamas, and the safe passage of foreign nationals out of Gaza, not just Americans, but Australians and a whole range of people.
Governs the Gaza Strip stores fuel, both diesel fuel and other types of and benzene and other types of fuel. It's all inside the Gaza Strip, and there's enough for many days for hospitals and water pumps to run. Only the priorities are different. Hamas prefers to have all of the fuel for its warfighting capabilities, leaving civilians without it.
Australia unequivocally condemns the terrorism of Hamas. We grieve for the loss of every innocent life, whether that be Israeli or Palestinian. In times of crisis, respect for international humanitarian law is paramount. It is a recognition of our common humanity, and I commend the President for his leadership that he has shown in the example that he has set. Today I announce that Australia will provide an additional $15 million in humanitarian assistance for civilians in Gaza. This adds to the $10 million Australia has already committed and will help deliver life-saving assistance such as emergency water and medical services.
Right, let's show you some images and videos which are emerging. This is the Israeli airstrike on a Gaza bakery that had happened, and look at the debris, the site of destruction that you can see here. It only goes on to show the kind of crisis that prevails in Gaza right now. A lot of civilian targets have also come under attack because of the kind of strikes that we have seen in the Gaza Strip and in West Bank. And the key issue is that this is a very densely populated area. So often when these kind of strikes happen from the Israeli side, one wonders to what extent can a distinction really be made between where is Hamas, the targeted killings that Israel wants to do, and the civilian targets that bear the brunt. Hamas divers attempt to infiltrate Israel by sea. Multiple fronts have been used by the terror group to infiltrate into Israel and create ruckus and mayhem. These images tell you that story. This video tells you that story. These are these terrorists who are using the sea route to try and enter into the Israeli soil. Whether it's air, water, land, all three ways are currently being fiercely guarded by the Israelis in cooperation with US, UK and the kind of support that they have got. Let's also show you these plumes of smoke seen rising over the Gaza skyline, and it only tells you the tale of death and destruction, which is the consistent story for the last more than 2 weeks ever since this war has broken out. These images and the story from Israel, Gaza and the West Bank. Right now, some reports my colleague Neeraj gets you.
इजराइल गाजा बॉर्डर पे इस वक्त हम लोग हैं जेरौत के नज़दीक, जेरौत शहर के नज़दीक, और यहाँ देख सकते हैं उस इलाके से आगे जाने की मनाही है। लेकिन अभी थोड़ी देर पहले टैंक से एक के बाद एक हमला गाजा के अंदर इजराइल की आर्मी ने किया, और वही धुआं आपको दिख रहा होगा, काला धुआं आसमान में जो इस वक्त आपको दिख रहा है। हम यहाँ खड़े थे और एक के बाद अचानक से आवाज़ आती है टैंक से हमला किया गया है, किसी लोकेशन पे हमला किया गया है गाजा के, और यहाँ से जो वो काला धुआं दिख रहा है किसी हमास के स्ट्रक्चर पे या वैसे स्ट्रक्चर पे जहाँ हमास के आतंकवादी छुपे हों, वहाँ ये हमला किया गया है। और आसमान में धुआं उठता हुआ आप देख सकते हैं। लगातार इस इलाके से आर्मी की गाड़ियाँ मूवमेंट करती रहती हैं, आर्मी के लोग मूवमेंट करते रहते हैं, लेकिन बीच बीच में धमाके की आवाज़ आएगी, बमबारी की आवाज़ आते रहती है, और बीच बीच में ये धुआं आपको दिखता रहेगा, क्योंकि गाजा महज यहाँ से कुछ किलोमीटर भी नहीं, महज 1 से 2 किलोमीटर की दूरी पर यहाँ से गाजा है, और हम आपको लगातार तस्वीरें बॉर्डर से पहुँचा रहे हैं।